Hey, Motorman here, and I'm at Burt's Buccaneer Indian dealership in Tampa, Florida. And they take the Buccaneer thing kind of far. They had a kid dressed as a pirate. In fact, I said to the kid, "Oh, so you're a pirate?" He says, "Yeah." I says, "Well, where's your Buccaneers?" He said, "Under my bucking hat." Okay, I just made that up. But let's talk about the motorcycle now. And here it is. And the particular one that I rode had the accessory windshield and saddlebags, which looked just perfect on this motorcycle. Now, I've mentioned this before, but this bike, the Chief Vintage, is about as true to the original retro motorcycle as you can possibly get. It looks just like the 1940s Indians with the big balanced fenders. Got pretty good sized saddlebags. And set up like this, it is a touring bike, not just a cruiser, but a touring cruiser, you might say. Now let's get it out on the road and see how it rides. Well, the first thing I noticed upon getting on the bike is that it's got a very low seat height. It's actually just 27 inches, so that means, if you're 5'1" or taller, you're going to flat foot this bike pretty easily. To go over some of the specs on it, you got 120 foot-pounds of torque at 2,900 RPM. And remember that torque is what you feel. You don't feel horsepower, you feel torque. And this bike has plenty of it. At 2,900, you're putting out a lot of torque. So regardless of what gear you're in, you open the throttle and the bike takes off. It also, according to the specs, has a lean angle of 28.5 degrees. That's very comparable to other bikes in this class. For instance, the Harley-Davidson Heritage, 28 or 29 degrees. That's pretty good for a cruiser. I mean, it's not a sport bike, it's a cruiser, and you got floorboards on here, and you start pushing it, you're going to scrape them occasionally, but under normal riding conditions, that probably will never happen to you. If you're doing low-speed maneuvers, it's going to happen quite a bit, but it's just a warning. It tells you you're reaching the limit of the lead angle, not to go much further, or you could lever a tire off the ground. And I want to mention this windshield on this bike. It appears quite low, and it is. I mean, I'm looking completely over it, but it does a good job of blocking the wind. I'd say I got some wind from the top of my chest, maybe the neck area up to the top of the helmet. Didn't really notice any helmet buffeting. And also notice that the handlebars they have plenty of pullback. That means you can adjust the bars forward or back. The way they are right now on this bike, when I got on it, it's perfect setup for me. I was in an upright riding position, feels really good, very comfortable. There's a toe shifter only on this bike. I'm guessing that a heel shifter is available for it, but the toe shifter was working just fine. And I also should mention that it actually seems to shift a lot quieter than Harley-Davidson's. I don't know if that means anything to you, but it just felt fine. As far as the ride, well, the bike weighs 720 pounds, which is, again, very similar to other motorcycles in this range, what I would call a heavyweight American-style cruiser. And with 720 pounds, some people might think that's heavy, but if you compare it to the Indian touring bikes at 850 and above, it really feels light, and it is light in comparison to those bikes. You got 3 inches of travel in the back with the shocks, and I think it's 5 inches in the front, and the ride was just very comfortable. The bike is equipped with ABS, not cornering ABS, at least according to the specs. I couldn't find anything about cornering ABS, so I'm assuming this has got standard ABS, and the brakes do work very well, easily come to a stop, just the right amount of pressure. It's not excessive, it's not over boosted, it just felt as it should. Vintage has 3 riding modes. You've got rain, standard, and sport. Now, I have noticed on this bike, as well as all other Indian motorcycles that I've ridden, and I've ridden just about every model they have, there's always a slight delay between the time you start opening the throttle and the time that the bike starts reacting to the opening of the throttle. I don't know if you would call that a fault. I just don't notice it on any other motorcycle I've ridden, and I ride a lot of bikes, including my own. And in the rain mode, you've got the most delay, standard, a little bit less delay, and in sport mode, you still have a delay, but it's very slight. It's just something that you get used to, within a couple of hours of riding, I'm sure, but it is worth mentioning. Indian's only competition in this segment, the heavyweight cruiser, especially retro cruiser segment, is Harley-Davidson. Let's face it, there's no getting around that. Both companies are after the same market. And in particular, with this model versus, which Harley-Davidson would be its competitor, I would say it would be the Harley Heritage, of course. As far as the retro styling, I would put this much more retro looking than the Heritage. Now, Harley did make the Icon model of the Heritage a couple of years ago, and yeah, that would maybe put it in the same class as far as being true to the original. However, Harley was charging, I think it was $3,000 or $4,000 over the standard Heritage price to get that Heritage or that retro look on the Heritage. Indian is not doing that. These start at $20,000. That's for the black, and I think it's another $500 for the red. The Chief Vintage and the Heritage are very close in price. One of the benefits of the Harleys, it already comes with the windshield for $20,000, but you have to get the basic gray. It also has cornering ABS. So yeah, when you're comparing motorcycles or comparing anything, it's always best to go apples to apples. And with the Vintage and the Harley Heritage, it is comparing apples to apples. Which one you like better, it really depends on you. Do you like the fact that you get cornering ABS? Is that something that you think about as far as safety, or is it just styling that's going to ring your bell? It really depends on the person. Personally, I've ridden both. Both of them are excellent motorcycles, both capable of long-term cruising or 500-600 mile days or riding around town. They both handle very similarly. Both are extremely maneuverable at low speeds. So it really depends on, well, do you like the looks of them? Now, honestly, this bike, there's no question it has more of a retro look than the Harley Heritage. But both are retro-styled motorcycles. So it's best to ride both of them if you can and try to ride them back-to-back and see what you like the best, compare it price-wise, and get what you like. Personally, for me, I think I would take the Vintage over the Heritage, mainly because of that retro styling that just looks so good to me, and it is truest to the original. When you can get a motorcycle that looks like a vintage bike but has modern running gear, you might even call it a resto mod. To me, that's the best type of motorcycle to buy, because I like the modern power that you get and suspension and the handling on a bike of today versus what you would get in the 1940s. I mean, there's really no comparison other than the styling of the bike. So think about that. If you like retro styling, this would have to be the winner over the Heritage. If that really doesn't ring your bell and you just want a motorcycle that kind of looks like a 1950s bike, maybe the Heritage would be the one for you. But ride them back to back if you can, compare it price-wise, and let me know what you think down below. Which one would you choose, the Heritage or the new Chief Vintage? Now, my decision is, with a choice between the Heritage and the Chief Vintage, I'm going to go for the Chief Vintage. What do you think? Please subscribe, comment below. I'd love to hear your opinion.